Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Look Up TV. This is The Morning Drift. Nancy Nelima here, and today on our discussion, we are talking about addressing childhood obesity. Right here with me, Fatma Mohammed, who is the founder of Wellness KE.
Yes.
Right. And there are a lot of wellness products over here. So maybe you can just talk about a few of them.
Yeah, no problem. I actually wanted to make sure that before we even get to this, parents can be able to understand one of the fastest ways that you can be able to ensure that your child actually eats healthy food is adding some more natural herbal products that are nutrient dense. It's like you said, you love chia seeds.
I do.
Chia seeds are a very good example of nutrient dense foods that you can add to your child's oats, or you can make a chia seed pudding for them, and that's actually one of the fastest ways. And it's you can almost trick them into eating them. You can blend them into a smoothie, but then they're still going to get the most nutritional value into the food.
Right. And before I forget, the children in their very formative years.
Yeah.
Breastfeeding has been said to, if exclusive breastfeeding could help prevent obesity. How does that work exactly?
It actually helps because exclusive breastfeeding actually assists, almost like you're setting up your child to have actually a healthier body all throughout their life, because you find that there's a lot of research that actually supports that children who exclusively breastfed actually end up having healthier immune system and healthier bodies. So it is a factor to consider, and so for parents out there, there's a reason why the breast milk is there. It's because it needs to be able to assist the child as they keep growing and developing, and also even as children go into their pediatrician to see the doctor for checkup and things like that, they have a growth chart to check, like how is this child actually developing, their height, their weight, and things like that. And that is actually an indicator of how healthy this child is going to be, or the opposite. So it's something to obviously think about if you're a soon-to-be mom or a mom. So in terms of the products, it's very important to use natural products, because they're actually going to help you in terms of making sure that you balance your blood sugar levels and your insulin levels. So we always advocate for going natural, because obviously what is inside of this particular food. Some of the foods that we actually have here are like chia seeds, as you've mentioned, and we also have sesame seeds. We also have pumpkin seeds. We also have sunflower seeds and flax seeds. And the reason for that is because one of the best ways for you to actually ensure that a child is able to maintain a healthy weight is by adding healthy fats into their food. So by healthy fats, we're talking about foods that are going to be rich in essential fatty acids. And the reason why they are called essential fatty acids is because your body does not make them. Your body is not capable of making them. So it's your duty to actually put them into your body. And healthy fats actually help you in making sure that you don't have elevated levels of blood sugar, and they don't lead you to weight gain, which is quite interesting. Most people actually associate healthy fat, the word fat, with actually becoming
but actually
fat.
Healthy fats.
I know, but it's quite the opposite. So you need to add healthy fats. So for parents, if you're making a fruit salad, if you're making uji, if you're making oats, if you're making a chia seed pudding or pudding for your child, add the healthy fats in there, the nuts and the seeds, also avocado, healthy oils. That way you'll be able to counter the blood sugar for your child, and it actually is going to keep them very full when you think of in terms of the amount of food that they're eating. So also we have some herbal teas here. So we have turmeric tea, we have green tea here, and we also have moringa, which is it's quite interesting. Like, most people have not really understood the rave around moringa, is because it's known as nature's very own multivitamin, and it's for a reason. So it's loaded with vitamins. It's actually like a one size fits all. So if you're able to make your child a smoothie in the morning, for instance, they can be able to have a moringa smoothie, and it actually is going to taste really good, because you can be able to prepare the smoothie. You actually add the moringa inside the blender. So for instance, you've added pineapple, some cucumber, some mango there, you've added some chia seeds there, some sesame seeds, add the moringa in there. This is a very nutrient dense type of smoothie, and you'll notice that it actually balances their blood sugar levels. It actually keeps them full, and most importantly, it's highly nutritious. So it's that one thing you give them that's actually going to do a lot for them within that, you know, one particular glass of smoothie.
And you know, for a lot of parents, say there's a rush in the morning. Just you wake up, you have to drop the kids, and you have to go to work as well. So they want a breakfast that is going to be very fast
and very easy.
So and easy. So and with nutrition, people think that nutrition is tasking.
I know, but it's not true.
Exactly. So how can say an easy breakfast, fast enough and healthy, be made for kids?
Well, this is the first thing you need to think about. Consider it, whatever breakfast it is, think about it being a balanced type of breakfast, right? So consider what's going to actually have some protein, what's going to have some healthy vitamins and minerals that are going to help your child. And also, in terms of carbohydrates, make sure that they're not refined carbohydrates. By refined carbohydrates, we are talking about the your white bread, your cookies, your sweets, and all that. Make sure that you go complex carbohydrates. If it's brown bread, it's actually going to not spike the blood sugar levels. If it's oats, it's going to be a lot healthier. That's actually very fast. There's a reason why they're called instant oats, because they're very fast for you to prepare. They can also have eggs. You know, you can make for them some kienyeji eggs, some greens on the side, or a balanced bowl of fruit. That's actually easy. Add the nuts in there, some healthy yogurt, not just any kind of yogurt, but then you add that there. You know, a glass of milk, especially if it's, you know, of course, the healthy source of milk and things like that. So you actually want to think of, when you look at that bowl or that cup or that glass, you've actually fixed everything in one. And which is why it's important to consider foods that are very nutrient dense, and also natural products that are nutrient dense, like your moringa and your healthy fats like the sesame seeds and pumpkin seeds and etc. And also I think most people actually assume that they don't have time, but I like to say that when you meet someone, the first 15 minutes that you spend with them, you'll know where they've actually allocated, you know, most of their time, or they've prioritized. So is it work? Then that should tell you, look at yourself and say, I have prioritized my job over my child. And what should I do about that? Because that's not right. Your child actually is waiting for you to make the better decisions on their behalf, because they don't have the ability to go out there and buy themselves the greens and the fruit and the healthy foods. You're the breadwinner, and you're the one who brings home the food. So whatever it is that you put on their plate is because you've decided to put it on their plate.
Okay. And what about meal preparations as well as a routine? Do you think it would work for parents with kids?
Most definitely, because when you meal prep, then you are set for success. When you don't, you're set for failure. You'll reach for the fastest thing. Yes, and the quick fix never works, you know, in most instances. So what you need to do is make sure that you actually have, you can allocate your weekends as your meal prep time or day. So you decide that towards the half of your Sunday, maybe towards the end of, you know, because you're approaching Monday and kids are going to be going to school, this is your time for you to prepare. You can actually prepare overnight oats, whereby you take your oats, you soak them in milk, you can soak them in yogurt, you can actually put fruit in there, you can actually put the nuts and seeds, and you leave them in the fridge. And when you wake up in the morning, it actually tastes really, really good. You'll add your dates there, you'll add honey.
I think I'm going to try that.
You should.
I'm going to try that tonight.
So good. And it's one of the best ways actually to get yourself off of sugar, especially if you feel like you crave sugar all the time. The moment you start actually eating natural sources of sugar in the right amounts, accompanied by, you know, healthy source of protein and healthy source of carb, you find that it actually is going to get rid of the cravings for sugar. So taking that time towards the end of your Sunday in preparation for the week, you can actually allocate that time in meal prep. That way, when you wake up in the morning, it's just a matter of, you know, giving it to the child and also packing it for them for school. But then, you know, of course, you're setting them up for a healthier life.
Okay, and you see, for a lot of parents, the healthy living is something that is coming up.
Yeah.
But again, we know that most people know that there's a danger of a million children being obese.
Yeah.
Then it means that most people don't live a healthy life, or don't help their kids lead a healthy life. Then so if your child has packed very even healthy snacks to school, then when they go to school, they see someone else's lunchbox.
I know.
And it has cookies.
I know.
And it has biscuits. So then there's that challenge.
I know.
How they can be integrated into the usual society.
Wow. This is something that teachers now need to actually come and try and fix, because I know of a certain school that actually does not allow children to carry foods that are high in sugar and foods that are high in trans fats, because they know it's unhealthy for them, and they also know it's these teachers that spend the day with the kids. So when they get to have that sugar rush, they're the ones who have the headache to actually deal with these children. So they're like, nope, if you're bringing your child, squeeze the juice and, you know, add the dates and the honey and, you know, bring it. But then if it's something that is processed, we take it and your child is not going to be able to use it. I know of a school that actually does that in Mombasa. So parents actually have, I mean teachers actually have a very important role to play here, because they can actually decide and say children are not allowed to bring certain types of foods, especially if we know that there's a rising, you know, there are rising cases of obesity and children being overweight. And also they can add even more physical activity in school, because now we're seeing the fact that, you know, children are more likely to lean towards gaming and watching TV, and while they're doing that, they're usually snacking. And guess what? Even as they're gaming and watching these videos on YouTube, what's being advertised to them? It's usually snacks. These advertisers know exactly when to target the children. So you actually need to take your time and make sure that you go ahead of them, you know. So make sure that you meal prep, make sure that you provide your child with the right type of foods, and don't, you know, make these unhealthy foods available to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for these products, then healthy living is deemed as an expensive lifestyle.
I know.
So are these products expensive?
No, they're not. And I'll say this for a fact, even for us at Wellness KE, that was the most important thing. As I was mentioning to you, I started the platform because I was unwell for many years. So I had fibroids, and I also ended up having deep vein thrombosis. So the condition in itself was quite scary. And during that time, I didn't get the right information or the right products that were going to be able to support my health. And so for that reason, because I suffered for a very long time, I decided to start a platform that would be able to help people, so that when they need to actually start their healthy journey, these products will be accessible to them. So our products are not expensive. Our green tea is $3.99. We have our turmeric tea, it's $4.25. These are products that actually will last you for a while. And there's a reason why we're actually fighting for the prices to remain the same. It's because our platform in itself has through the grace of God, we have many people who have healed from fibroids and from even issues like obesity and weight gain, because now they've discovered that it's more about what we eat and what we put on our plate, and eating smart as opposed to eating a lot of food. And so for that, you know, we've actually tried to establish that, and I can say I'm proud that we are achieving that. So more people have actually understood what it means to eat healthy. More people actually have our products as their household products, and they could consider them as their shopping every month.
I think you've sold this to me, so
thank you.
I might just be a
Most
customer.
definitely, and you're welcome. And I know you love chia seeds and you love healthy living.
Yes.
You know, you're very much welcome, and to anyone else out there also.
So, and you mentioned a little bit about physical activity.
Yes.
Remember, we are living in times where the iPad kids.
Yeah.
So it's they'll grab a snack.
Yes.
And then they'll be scrolling. Then they'll grab a snack. Then they'll be scrolling.
I know.
Or they'll be on the TV screens. Parents are even unable to watch news.
I know.
Because the kids aren't controlled. So then, some parents have been blamed. You know, they have contributed to the obesity in a lot of children. So parents and control.
Yeah.
How can they gain that back?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I try and have a little bit of mercy for parents because I know it's not easy. Most of them are trying to cope with the times, you know, and so they are working really hard and spending majority of their time at work or running their businesses or trying to make ends meet. And because of that, you know, children actually have all this time unsupervised and they are spending their time, you know, actually sitting before the screen. Right. But what you have to do as a parent is to actually start involving physical activity. We're not talking about, of course, not just fitness, even though there are many videos on YouTube that actually support and will be able to allow your child to train and work out. Other than that, add physical activity in their day. Allow your children to be able to have time to move their body and to play, because chances are even in school they don't have enough time to actually do that and move their body. Okay. So creating that type of environment, even if you have to be there and involve yourself, even if you have to supervise or have someone to supervise, also find out if there are activities that can be able to, like sport activities that your child can engage in. That means that when they engage in a sport activity like football or basketball or whatever, that means over the weekend, instead of you guys going to the mall and spending a lot of your money on food that's going to not be healthy for you, they'll probably be at a game and you'll be present at the game to watch them play. Right. And these types of activities are actually going to assist your child in, you know, obviously having a healthier body and having, you know, living a healthy life.
And would it be easier
Yeah.
if the parents are fit as well?
Yes,
then when
of
the child
course.
sees this, then they'll be
I know, you know why? Because children learn from example. So as a parent, also think about that. Think about the fact that your children are watching you and they're learning everything from you. So if you also have to be able to develop this type of characteristics, then understand that it's going to lead to your children being a lot healthier. I know just from us growing up, my mom was very big on her skincare. And because of that, I ended up taking care of my skin all the time because I would see her taking care of herself with natural products. My dad actually had a section at home where he had his weights, his dumbbells, everything, and he would train before he takes us to school. He would go swim, come back, actually lift some weights, and then take us to school. So I grew up actually seeing that, you know, even though I started like in my 20s, but I knew it was from somewhere.
This is how you were socialized.
How we were, yes. So because of that, I grew up knowing that this is a healthy habit. Okay. And so these are habits that I'm never going to kick, because I saw them from two people that I actually, you know, adore and would like to emulate. And so as a parent, you actually need to do that. Set examples and try. And I know it's difficult because sometimes parents are trying to do everything at the same time, but prioritize. Because when your children are not here today, or when your children are sick, you're the one who actually feels the pain the most. I know even when I was sick, that's what my mom would tell me all the time. I wish I could take that pain and carry it. And so you need to be the one to do it, because you know later on it will hurt you more if they're not okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And as we close, let's talk about the COVID-19.
Yes.
And how it just highlighted a lot of our weak areas as the world, as the Kenyan society, and a lot of health complications.
Yeah.
And more so even in children who got sick,
Yeah.
who even lost a few children due to the COVID-19 pandemic, who had these underlying conditions.
Yeah.
Kids with diabetes, kids with lifestyle diseases, and that is pretty alarming.
It's actually scary when you think of it, because during this time, when children were not actually going to school or leaving their houses, so to speak, this was actually a time for them to actually engage themselves in more activity. And I was thinking about it yesterday, like if this would have happened during my era, chances are we'll probably have even more time to play
the whole day.
Can you imagine? And that will be like the best feeling ever. But then it was the opposite, because, you know, children are actually sitting before the screen and, you know, holding the iPad kids, as you've called it. So it really did expose some of these particular issues in our society.
Right.
And we're still trying to, you know, deal with them. But I think the best thing that we're supposed to do as a society, how can we encourage encourage children to actually live a healthy lifestyle, even if it's in your community, in your neighborhood. Don't just wait for the government. As neighbors, just come together and ask yourself, we have kids here, my kid, your kid, everybody else's. How can they be able to have a safe place so that they can play, a clean place? How can we be able to engage them in activities? So we also have a role to play, you know, as a society, so that we can support, you know, the health of children.
And I believe this is a conversation that now we'll have. Today we talked about children,
yes,
but adults
need
it just as bad.
I know.
So we'll schedule a conversation
Most
where we'll have this talk, and of course we'll also be welcoming feedback.
Yes.
And just even you can be able to send all your concerns to Fatma right here, and we'll be addressing them at a later date. But thank you so much, Fatma, for being part of the conversation. She is the founder of Wellness KE, and our conversation this morning addressing childhood obesity. Let's keep the conversation going across our social media platforms at Look Up TV on Twitter, Look Up TV on Facebook, and Look Up TV on our YouTube channel. I am Nelima. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be handing over to Simba, and he'll be letting us know what's happening on the business front. Have a good morning.